paranormal. It surrounds us. It's everywhere. Tonight, you will hear from the people who live and work within these highly active locations, all in the efforts to discover America's most haunted. With your host, ghost hunter and author, Dan Terry.
Good evening, boys and ghouls. I am Dan Terry, your ghost host with the most haunted. And I'm going back to my home area of the Midwest. Tonight, we're going to find a group that was founded in 2024. It is an all-female team out of Iowa. And I know, before you start getting on to me, I've been doing a lot of all-female teams. And there's more of them. There's more and more coming out. And yeah, as you all know, if you're watching, I discuss with them if women are represented well on the television shows of ghost hunting. And so far, it's been pretty much across the board. No, they aren't. But there are a lot of women in ghost hunting and a lot of all-female teams in ghost hunting. And I don't think Hollywood, New York, whoever it is who's running these things understand that yet. I don't know if they think men have more personality or what, so I don't know, but we'll be talking about that and about some of the investigations of the Paranormal Gurlz out of Iowa. And this is Brenda and Misty, who is Heidi. All right. Brenda, you guys have been together for over a year now, but you've done some amazing areas. What places have you hit there in the Midwest?
Edinburgh Manor in Scotch Grove. We've done Malvern Manor in Malvern, Squirrel Cage Jail in Council Bluffs, McPike Mansion in Alton, Illinois, Mercy Hospital in Oskaloosa.
Wow.
We've done Beatty Mansion in St. Joe, Missouri. We just did, well, I went, the rest of the team couldn't go, but we just did Ashmore Estates in Ashmore, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
I've done Fairfield County Infirmary in Ohio.
Wow.
Stopped into Billy Creek in the Indiana State Sanatorium. So now those two are on the bucket list. Yeah. So
you guys need to get out towards West Virginia.
Yeah.
I did some lecturing out there, and that's crazy. That place has got so much stuff going on.
Yeah, Trans-Allegheny.
Trans-Allegheny,
Yep.
the prison.
Yep.
The prison is built right next to an Indian burial mound. There's a couple of ships that were they were dredgers on the river, and they welded them together, took them to Europe, and used them as a medical facility off the coast of France for D-Day.
Oh.
But they took the Indian spirit that one of the ships had accidentally dredged up a underwater Indian burial area. And they had a bunch of those spirits with them. They've had sailors. All of that's still there. That's in West Virginia. So a lot going on in that state as well. You find one state has more than the others for you?
I don't think so. I think when it comes to finding locations, you always find the ones that are very popular, well-known due to different TV shows or whatever being there. But sometimes it's more fun to find the ones that don't have as much recognition.
Absolutely.
They don't have the body count go through for investigating. So when you go in, it could potentially be a very big paranormal hotspot that nobody knows about because it's kept under wraps or it's really quiet. I just talked to a guy last month who they live up north, New York, Maryland, somewhere, and they just bought a nursing home in West Virginia, I believe he said it was. that's haunted. So he's now going to be getting that open, or they're doing summer investigations,
Uh-huh.
but it's not one that's widely known yet. So it's like that would be really cool to get into there,
Yes.
you know, to see what you could experience before it becomes the big, you know, hot spot for every team to go to.
Sounds interesting. I'd like to find out where that's at. I was lectured a lot down there. This year I haven't, but the last 3 years I was there. And the people there, which I have not seen anywhere else, really work well together trying to keep the whole ghost thing going. Uh, Missouri, other places I've seen them fight amongst themselves. This is my haunted place. I don't want you here. They don't get like that there in West Virginia.
Which that's awesome.
It is. They work well together. Tell me about the Squirrel Cage Theater. I got to ask because my
Oh,
specialty is jails and prisons.
okay, so Squirrel Cage Jail is one of, I think it's one of the only ones left standing, but it was a revolving jail cell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the number of cells in there. Maybe Misty might remember, but it's a square building with this circular thing in the middle that are all jail cells, and it would rotate, and it would take one full day to rotate around.
So it rotated all the time.
Yes, but it took one full day to rotate. So if they were given pills or whatever to the inmates, they would shift it and it would stop. Then they would give them their food or whatever, then shift it and stop for the next one. Or like if they had to take anybody in and out, it was a very slow process. They had a lot of people that would put their arms or legs out in it. So when it turned, they would get them caught to break them so they would be able to get out of jail to go to
Okay.
like the hospital or whatever. Um, the differences between there's 3 floors, I think, right? Three
Yeah, there's
floors,
three floors.
and then the housing up above that. Um, there was like a hatch in the floor because for them to close the gates and run downstairs like if a riot broke out, it was unfeasible. So they'd have like a trap hatch and they would leave the biggest, burliest guy in charge of that floor while the guard would drop down through the hatch to go tend to the riot or whatever. It's got some really cool, interesting um, history to it.
Did you get any results there?
Um, a lot of
I
you
wouldn't say it
definitely,
was audio. Little
yeah,
bits of little things, but it wasn't jump out at you. It was stuff you had to go back and review it and see.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't hear that before. That
right.
kind of
And
stuff.
we were also there right before the 4th of July. So there was a lot of fireworks going off, a lot of other contaminating things. Um, but you get that sense when you're in there, and maybe it was because we were females,
Mhm.
but you get that sense in there that, you know, like you just feel that, ooh, come here, baby. Like, you know, like we don't see very many women in here, you know, like you just
Mhm.
get that sense or that feeling. And so that kind of made it creepy. There was one room we were in, I think it was like an infirmary, like a hospital room, whatever. And I was recording on my camera. So you see us go in, I sit down on the floor, and then the next thing on that video camera was us leaving. So the entire like 20 minutes we're in there, my camera doesn't film or it got corrupted. It was just really weird, really
Okay.
weird.
Yeah,
Um,
we did have a couple issues with all my film
mhm,
as well.
mhm. So it was in. Oh, that was the first time I got poked. I did get poked in the shoulder.
Okay.
Yes.
We were upstairs where the jailer lived, or the ward, whatever.
Hmm.
His whole
Um,
family was up in that top
yeah, it was
level.
like an apartment.
Okay.
we're in the bedroom and there's a mannequin over there
Oh,
behind me, so I feel a bump in my shoulder and I thought, oh, I backed into the mannequin, whatever. Turn around, I'm like 2 feet from the mannequin and the mannequin has no arms, but I got poked like in the shoulder. And so then I went out of that area over into the door and I felt a brush against my leg. I'm like, I don't even know why you guys are picking on me. This is crazy. But so, yeah.
Sounds like it was an exciting time.
Yeah. And then they also have a depot right there that you can also investigate too. So you could like do a split thing. We haven't done the depot yet, but that's on the list. I want to go back and do the depot. But
What have you got on your list for Nebraska, Missouri?
so I'm trying to work on it. We have Misty who's laid up, and
yeah.
everybody has a bunch of like Kathy has some family things coming up, so she has some unavailability times. So I'm trying to get something for either the 23rd or the 30th of this month, which might actually be Squirrel Cage. Might go back because Tanya wasn't able to go when we went to that one, so might do that one. Um, we do have in the makings, they're not set in stone yet, but the Garnett House in Kansas, um, the McIntyre Villa, the 1889 McIntyre Villa.
You'll love her. She's a riot. I interviewed her once. She's great.
Yeah. Um, I would love to go to the Sally House. We made a stop at the Sally House, but that place is so busy. Like it's a year out. So that will have to be for next year. And then I also just seen a video a little bit ago about the Dilbert House in Atchison. So I'll
Okay.
have to check into that one because I don't think that one's as widely known as McIntyre or that. But I want to go. I want to do Missouri State Pen. We've talked about doing that.
Done it 3 times. It's never fails.
Yeah. So Missouri State Pen want to do Pythian Castle in Springfield. What else is in Missouri? The Belwa Winery in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Belvoir, yeah.
Yeah, with the Oddfellows Hall. My brother has actually done that Oddfellows. He says it's very, very, very interesting and active.
Oh yeah, I want to go there too.
So,
well, you still got the Lemp Mansion in St.
oh yeah,
Louis. Oh gosh, what else? Yeah, I can't think of them right now either, but I've been to so many of them.
There's a lot, and like Iowa, for anybody that doesn't know, we actually have 13 documented. Like if you look up haunted locations for Iowa, there's actually 13 that are documented, which is quite a few for this state because it's not very big. A couple of them are bridges, a couple of them are cemeteries, but they're known to have that haunted activity.
Right.
There's a theater up at Strawberry Point. There's Independence Mental Hospital. There's a new one and an old one. The old one is one you can do for investigations. The new one is still being used. There's a couple of properties down in southeastern Iowa that is haunted. So Iowa, and the Bondurant Farrar School. If you're a Sam and Colby fan, you can go there and check that out. But so there are quite a few areas in Iowa themselves that a lot of people don't know. There's a historical place out in western Iowa. It's in Audubon County. I went there the first time I went there. They were closed. It was on a holiday. Pulled up and I'm like, oh, that house is haunted as all get out. And then we went back and did a tour later when they were open and everything. And they're like, yeah, we do paranormal tours here and, blah, blah, blah. And so there's just a lot of places also that have a lot of history to them that have some sort of hauntings going on. Again, they're not known.
I had a fellow on here who owned an old stagecoach stop. The hotel was there. It was in Iowa. I got to figure out. I have to look back and see if I can find that one. But Yeah, he had a lot of adventures in that place.
Oh, I bet.
So
And
I know
that
I was.
definitely,
Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say that would definitely be one that would probably project a lot of energy just because of all the people that traveled through.
Yeah, I was stationed in the service. One of my duty stations was Nebraska, Omaha. So I was right across the river. Used to go into Iowa a lot. Do you know of
Mhm.
anything in Nebraska?
Um, there are some. I There was one, oh my gosh, I think it's out in the middle of Nebraska somewhere. A team was wanting people to go out there to go to it. Can't think of it off the top of my head. I
Okay.
would I would definitely say Offutt Air Force Base.
Yeah, you might not get on there.
I was gonna say I don't know if they would really let anybody get on there, but we used to take field trips out there,
Hmm.
and that has got to be one of the creepiest. For being a military base, it's got to be one of the creepiest that I've ever felt in my life at such a young age. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would love to get into that air museum and check out some of the planes. I just feel like those planes may have something.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Let,
Um,
let's talk more about what you have done. What did you do in that area? What other places?
um, so when okay, short story. My
Okay.
brother has been an investigator for over 13 years. I mentioned that in my email.
Hmm.
And he would always leave and go on these adventures and never take me. And I'm like, why won't you take me? And he's like, because you'll get scared, you'll run out. Okay, fine. Well, I finally got him talked into letting me do some residential investigations with him. And he's like, okay, she's not so bad. Things aren't spooking her like I thought they would, whatever. And I kept telling him, I'm like, we need to book these places. We need to book locations. We need to go, go, go. And he's like, yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. And I'm like, done. I'm like, I'm starting my own team. And then I'm like, we're going to be all females because we're going to prove that just because we're women, we don't run. So I um, got some people together. We sat down. We made sure that we all got along good. We all vibed well and everything. And so then we agreed on the name. We formed Paranormal Gurlz. Well, then I told my brother that I had started my own team.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, where are you going ghost hunting? And I'm like, why do you care? So then he's like, well, I want to go. So he decided to book Edinburgh Manor and asked if we wanted to tag along with him. So then, he could go investigate. And I think he did it to figure out what kind of team I had established,
Okay.
what we were good at and what we weren't good at. And he's actually told me since then that I did pick a really good team. We're really good.
Mm,
We don't, like we try to debunk. That was something he always distilled in me. Like, you try to debunk everything.
okay.
Yeah.
What you can't debunk, then, what you can't explain, then it becomes something else. So over the course of time, us learning from him learning from us, that I I have a solid team. We have a solid team and we're good.
Hmm.
So he doesn't have to worry about his little sister going anywhere and getting hurt, scared, run out, whatever. And so when my
you
team
know,
can't go,
yeah.
I'm always
Go ahead.
like, do you want to go? I'm always like, do you want to go with me? And he's like, well, heck yes, I want to go with you.
Yep.
So that brings us into the point, and I have interviewed, I'll bet, 8 or 10 all women groups. Sinister Sisters is a group I've interviewed several times. Recently, Park City Paranormal. You all, there's others. And we discuss how women are portrayed in ghost hunting teams. Ghost hunters, some of those, they were always uh, doing the paperwork, doing the crap jobs,
The
uh,
research.
research, and sitting and listening to EVPs and doing all of that. what's your opinion on that? Is that accurate that women are not being treated properly or fairly?
I I can't speak for other teams, but maybe those that are the researchers or whatever, maybe that's what they felt comfortable with at that point. Because when you go to get into paranormal, you don't know what you're going to get into. You don't know what you're going to go up against. And so I think for some of them, they were comfortable in that position, learning more about that, being the historian, and then their curiosities piqued more, and then they wanted to get into it. I've been obsessed with it pretty much because it blows my mind how we can coexist, different realms, different planes, whatever you want to call them, but like can meet up in passing or whatever. So that really fascinates me, and I want to learn more about it, and I want to learn how it happens, how it exists, how
Okay.
we can, all of that stuff. So I do know a lot of people, a lot of females are scared to death. Like they're like, I don't want something touching me. I'm not saying I want something touching me, but like if something makes a loud thug or run it, our instincts is to run. Our instincts as female is, we're legitimately scared, where men aren't as easily scared. Some stereotypical, whatever you want to call it. Um, and as females, I think sometimes we are like overthinkers, our minds run wild, they're going a million miles a minute. So for us, we're a little bit more vulnerable in some situations where maybe men aren't. Um, I do agree with what you said at the beginning, at the very beginning, when you said there are not any TV shows that represent all female teams. Um, I can't speak for the rest of my team, but I would love to have a TV show where it was all female, just so females could prove the point that we can do anything that the men can do without being scared, and we can, debunk and gather the information and do everything just as well as anybody else does.
Let me throw this at you. Oh, Misty, do you have something to add?
I think that was actually just my mic picking something up. Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So one of the groups I was with, well, I was never with a group much. I mean, I just had friends, but the police department I worked at had 4 or 5 of us that ghost hunted together. Group come down, shot what they called a sizzle, which is a 5-minute clip of us ghost hunting to try and get money for a pilot. We shot it, thought it was great. They took it to New York, called me back one time and said, it's between you and a group of Playboy bunnies who are investigating in bikinis and lingerie. Guess who got the money for the pilot?
They did.
So, yeah, and I understand that. I'd rather watch them than I would myself, sure. But there again, they were using them for something totally different than actual ghost hunting. My team was great members, good people. We didn't need that as a come on. But that is the only time I've even heard of them try to do an all women ghost hunting show.
See, my personal opinion, I would rather watch somebody who is knowledgeable, knows how to gather the evidence, knows how to debunk. I don't care what they look like. If they can do the job and hold that attention, like highlighting stuff, like I would sit and rather watch that all day than to watch a bunch of people walking around in bikinis or, men in Speedos or whatever. Because, like, that's not why I'm there. I'm there to learn about the unknown. I'm there to learn about the paranormal, the unexplained. I don't care about you. I don't care that you have 6 degrees. Like, be credible in what you do and don't make it all about, like looks or whatever. Like knowledge, experience, that type of thing.
Yeah, and
Misty,
for it to be
Go ahead.
honest too. Sorry.
No, I was about to come and ask you your opinion on all of this.
Well, honestly, I enjoy shows where they're not trying to force the interaction to be bigger than what it really is.
Are there any that don't?
It doesn't seem like it anymore, honestly.
No.
You do run across a few that they might push it a little bit, but I mean, they're kind of sticking to what it is and not blooming it out to be something bigger and more grandiose than it really is.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, you see that with like the people who want to keep it pretty neutral, or like say Amy Broomy and Adam Berry. They are pretty chill on it. They don't try to push it out to make it more than it is, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you do got representation for females. It's just not enough representation for females.
Okay. All right. Ladies, we got that out of the way, but I do have to slide away for a commercial. Would you all wait for just a second? I will be right back. We'll talk some more. And got to show that evidence that you sent along. All right, friends. So there you have it. That was really the first group that says, I don't care if they're men or women, just as long as they're good at what they do. And I hate to keep going back. Ghost Hunters, I really liked it in the beginning. For the first couple seasons, every place wasn't haunted. And after that, every place was crazy haunted. You remember that stuff. And they would go out and try to debunk it. That kind of died away. So maybe things will change back. I'm hoping so. And wanted to show you all some of this stuff. So if you'll hang on, we'll be right back in just a moment.
The new book, How to Research a Haunted House by paranormal investigator Margie Kay and professional researcher Violet Wisdom, is now available from Unex Media. This one-of-a-kind book explains how to do research on a house with uncommon methods and resources used by historic home researchers, and how to determine who may be doing the haunting and why. How to research a haunted house can be used by homeowners, renters, investors, and it should be in the library of all professional paranormal investigators. Get this unique book at unexmedia.com or amazon.com. That's unexmedia.com or amazon.com. The Unex Network presents a health and wellness spiritually based brand of hemp-derived CBD products made by Hopewell Farm in Harrogate, Tennessee. We apply our Cathara energy work with all of our plants and products. Our products made in small batches with only 2 ingredients of pure hemp, full spectrum crude oil, and coconut-derived MCT oil. Third-party lab tested for potency and legal THC levels with 6 strengths of 1 ounce oil to choose from. Know what you're buying and get what you pay for from Hopewell Farm. Applied directly to a specific area, Hopewell Farm topical salve in 1 ounce and ½ ounce sizes, made with pure hemp crude oil, comfrey extract, and all natural ingredients. Find the Hopewell Farm link and coupon code on the Unex Network website at unexnetwork.com. That's unexnetwork.com.
Friends, we'll talk later towards the end of the show more about the Unex Network and the work they do. I always want to chat about it. There's so much you can get for being a member. the blog is an amazing thing only because so much stuff is happening. They were on the leading edge in the blog of the Tic Tac incidents with the U.S. Navy. They were at the edge of all the sightings of Mothman or winged humanoids, a lot of those in the Midwest. I am still more attached to the Midwest than I am out here in the Allegheny Mountains. But there's so much going on, and this is how you keep up with it. This is how you find the stuff you're interested in, is being with the UNX Network. And we'll talk more about that, but I want to get back to Brenda and Misty because I think we're having a really good discussion on that and on things that they have done. And you've done quite a bit. You sent me quite a bit of evidence. I think the first one, I'm going to play it, and then you can tell us what we're looking at, and then we'll play it again, okay?
Did you step or was it a drop too? I'm moving off then. Okay. I think that
I heard the EVP on the end. What did it say?
Happier in the afterlife.
Was that an invitation? Or is she just making a statement?
I think just a statement.
Okay.
So at that point, you hear me say, I got up off the bed. Since we were Edinburgh Manor, we were in a room called Jerry's room.
Okay.
It was a room that had a lot of men in it. And so when I got up and we were making a lot of noises, Tim had said, let's end our EVPs. And we were kind of talking. And so when I went over the crackling or the click noises that you hear right before that, I'm picking up my EVP recorder and shutting it off.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, this spirit thing was thinking that everything was off, but my camera was still recording.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we didn't hear it, but in the review, I freaked out. I had no idea what that was, why it was there. I sent it to the team. I sent it to my brother. I'm like, somebody's got to tell me what this says because it freaked me out.
Okay.
But that was my very first Class A EVP. That's legitimate. That you can actually hear the words. It was crazy.
And what's the base, briefly, history of this place?
Edinburgh Manor was a poor farm.
Okay.
I think there might have been a couple other things, but it was a working poor farm. Men on one side, women on the other side. If there were children there, they were there for a little short amount of time. Then they went to an orphanage, even if their parents were there. It was in use for many, many, many years.
Lots of turned into a nursing home too, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, I think at the end.
Yeah, there was a lot of old poor farms that were multiple uses, nursing homes, mental wards, whatever. So it had a lot of stuff going over across the thing over the years. It didn't become super popular until Ghost Adventures went there. They brought it to light. They made it super popular.
Mm-hmm.
The minute we walked in and started our tour, you instantly started hearing noises from down the hall. And every time we moved closer to it, it would move a little bit farther.
Okay.
But it was just interesting. And during the tour, I kept hearing this woohoo every once in a while. The tour guide would be talking and we're all standing there listening, and then all of a sudden you hear this woohoo. And I'm like, is anybody hearing that? And they're like, no, what are you hearing? And I'm like, why am I hearing this? Fast forward 2 hours into the investigation, everybody else finally heard the woohoo because it happened again, and they finally heard it. And I'm like, I'm not crazy. This is awesome. Um, it was very interesting. It can be a very quiet
Mm-hmm.
location.
Yeah.
Like you can hear thumps, or get a knock, or like that. But when I don't know, you've been in investigations, you've been in locations. Sometimes when you walk in, you're like, it just feels quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And that place is that way. It feels quiet. But the stuff you can end up getting off of your audio by playing it back, we were like, hey, can you knock back? Knock twice. We didn't hear it. We caught it on recorder. We
Okay.
caught it on the EVP. So, like, the audio from that place is ridiculously crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you go there, like, it might be somewhere you go like 2 or 3 times. And our tour guide goes there a lot. And she said the more you're there, the more they realize that it's you, like they remember you. And then the more you're there, the more they start interacting with you, almost like they have to build trust with those investigators. So it's definitely one of those locations where it's a multiple time go to be able
Yeah.
to get a bunch of stuff. So,
I've had that happen many times. All
mhm.
right, let's play it again. And folks, right about 35, 36 seconds into it, you'll hear the voice, and it's saying, what is it saying, Brenda?
I'm happier in the afterlife, or happier in the afterlife.
Okay. All right, let's listen.
Did you step or was it a thought too? I'm moving off then. Okay. I think that
I think you're right. I think she said, I'm happier. There was something above that, before it. So, okay. That's pretty wild. Don't know exactly how to say that, but it was.
I know.
Misty, was you there at the time?
Yeah. Actually, when we first started the tour, we were getting stuff when she was walking us through the room, and I remember seeing a little black ball going across the floorboard, and I said, I just saw a little black ball go across, but I was like, maybe I'm seeing things. We walked down to it, and in the room, in the middle of the room, is a little black ball.
Okay.
Now, little things like that was happening. I kind of got touched in the maintenance room downstairs, and I remember looking at the girls and going, please tell me there's a spider on my head. Because I kind of, it felt like somebody caressed my head, and I was just like, please just tell me there's a spider there, because I can handle that a little bit better, I think. But of course there was no spider. Her little whoops were caught on audio, on and off the whole night too.
Okay.
I remember playing it back for her because she kept talking about it, and I'm like, I hear whoops throughout the whole thing. Mm-hmm. It almost felt like something was kind of trying to mess with us all night.
Sounds like fun. Sounds like a place where the spirits are having a good time.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
One last thing. They also say when you go there to play hide and seek, this with your team. I'm not ever going to do that, but they'll tell you to play hide and seek with your team, and the spirits will tell you where to go to find your teammates.
Oh, wow. Now, I don't know what to think about that either. I'm not a fan of snitches, but okay.
I'm not doing that.
All right. Let's try this one and see how it goes.
there was definitely some torture in this room.
Are you afraid to come in this room?
Hello. Whoa. Wasn't expecting that.
So you're afraid to come in here? Because you don't like this room? You know what happened in here?
What happened?
All right. So Misty hasn't even seen that, but Ashmore
Yeah.
Estates. So we were at Ashmore Estates. We were on the third floor in the shock therapy room. Again, another quiet building. You could hear some clicks or thunks, every once in a while, but it was just very quiet. And at that point, we had been sitting in that room for probably a half hour with no interaction, no dead bell, no nothing.
Okay.
So, and then all of a sudden, Tim goes, "Are you afraid to come in this room?" And then the bell rings out of nowhere. And you can see in the video, nobody's near it
Mm-hmm.
at all. And it just went on, and we were all like, "Oh, like that was crazy."
Take that as a yes. Sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then, so yeah, there was another one I didn't get to you, but we were in there's a boiler room, and then behind the boiler room is like a workroom. We had a tripwire and the dead bell. And I did upload the video to YouTube. So anybody that wants to watch that can do that. Um, but the tripwire goes off, the dead bell goes off, and it starts going off continually, like bing, 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 bing. And like nobody's near it. We actually had to tell it to step away because it was getting annoying. But that was the first time ever with the dead bell. And I gotta say, I was pretty intrigued. So it's on my list. I'm gonna get one
Yeah.
because I liked it. Um, it was a cool experience. Motion censored lights in the hallways, so like where the stairs are, so you have to something physically has to make it come on and off,
Mm-hmm.
and they're coming on and off all night long by themselves, upstairs, downstairs, like it didn't matter. And it happened, all of us were outside, all of us, all 10 of us outside, not one person's in the building, and those lights are still going off in the stairwells. And it happened until it got light out. After it got light out, the lights didn't come on anymore.
Okay.
So
That's intriguing.
I don't know how to explain that, but it did. It happened.
So this was a mental facility?
So Ashmore Estates was originally like a mini poor farm. It wasn't a working poor farm, but it was where people could just drop off people. There was a railroad that went through there, so there was a lot of orphans that got dropped off there. The original building that was there no longer stands. Like they built a new building
Okay.
over the top of the existing. Um, and then it was a mental health place for a little while. Um, the the tour guide told us about a lady
Oh, I think we lost
who
somebody. Oh, okay. Sorry, we lost you for a second.
oh
Go ahead.
um so the warden or the superintendent, their house used to be out on the other side of the building, like across
Mm-hmm.
from the front entry. And in the wintertime, they didn't have any heat, so they would stay over in where the inmates were, what they called
Okay.
them, was inmates. And the daughter who lived there, who is still alive, mind you, um, said she remembers going across the hall, looking out the window, and seeing them dig holes in the ground.
Okay.
And then it wasn't until she was older that she realized that's where they were burying bodies,
Mm-hmm.
like over the winter or whatever. And so now there's a tree out there. They call it the dead tree. because that's where they have found remains, is like around the area. So I don't know. That was kind of interesting. They said you don't bring up the place being haunted to her because she don't believe it, and
Huh.
she'll shut you up. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there.
Sounds like it. All right,
Hmm.
one more to show. So let's see what we can hear on this one.
There's a fucking ceiling. That's Dan.
Can you wave hi?
Somebody in the sitting room. See that goes, that's a ceiling fan. See that? That. Gone. Now they're gone.
Okay, what was we watching there?
So Beatty Mansion, St. Joe, Missouri, fabulous place. I would definitely put that on a go list. Um, the owner of the house, what was his name, Misty? Armstrong
Yeah.
Beatty.
Yeah.
He had a room, and then that room where we caught the stick figure um, was is now a bedroom, but it was like his sitting room closet thing.
Okay.
Arms,
Yeah.
Armstrong was a businessman. His house set up on a hill. He could see the river. He was actually a slave owner, um, and a bunch of different other things. But it was interesting because a lot of people will say that that particular bedroom, there's been people scared out of that bedroom. It was on, I don't know, a haunting or something. This place
Okay.
was. But that bedroom is known for that. So my brother has an SLS camera, and we always walk around locations to see if we can find anything. And when it first started mapping, he goes, "It's mapping out the fan." And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then it kind of grew, into that big thing. And then he was like, wait a minute, like that's not the fan anymore. And then it ends up disappearing. And that was like the only stick figure that we really actually caught.
Okay. All right, let's watch that one again.
There's a fucking ceiling. That's Dan.
Can you wave hi?
Somebody in the sitting room. See that goes, that's a ceiling fan. See that? That. Gone. Now they're gone.
Okay. That was intriguing. Misty, what is the one place you want to hit? You want to see?
Uh, Actually, it's a place we've been talking about. I wanted to go see the Sally House because I grew up in Kansas,
Okay.
and I remember as a kid seeing the show where everything kind of made the Sally House famous.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just been, it may not be the biggest place, but it's just something that I've always wanted to check mark off the list for myself, you know?
Okay. How about you, Brenda? Anything in particular you just really want to go see?
The place that I wholeheartedly, really, truly want to go, I mean, my bucket list is like 10 miles long,
Yeah.
but my number one pick to go to do an investigation would be Alcatraz.
Okay.
I I don't know. I think just because of all of the history and all of um, like the negativity from the big bad criminal, call them big bad criminal, but like the worst of the worst criminals.
Sure.
and the stuff that could be in the, I don't know. I just think it would be an awesome place to go investigate. It would be an awesome place to go check out, even if it was a history tour. But that's always been like my biggest number one
All
place.
right. Well, I think you need to make a real effort down to the Missouri Penitentiary in Jefferson City.
Oh yeah.
They took prisoners in the same week, the first prisoners, the same week as the Battle of the Alamo. And it continued being a prison until almost 2000. I want to say 1995 or something.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff happened. 47 acres of hell is what they called it. So,
Yep. Oh, it's been like right here on the bucket list for 2 years now. It's just
Yeah.
they've changed their things. Now you have to have a group of 15 instead of 10, and so like it's just getting everybody to do that. Another one that is on our bucket list soon to do is Waverly
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
in Louisville. I've seen that building. That building is massive.
Yes.
And so yeah, like there's a lot. Like I'm gonna be going places with or without my team. Preferably with my team, because we all need to experience it. But
Yeah.
like there's a lot.
All right.
So,
Well, it is time for me to step back. Would you all wait here, and I'll be back with you as soon as I get done with the ending credits and such. But thank you all for being on. And if you get some really good evidence, or you really want to got 3 or 4 more places to talk about, let me know. We'll get you back.
thanks for having us.
Well, thank you for being here. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, friends, there's a lot going on there and a lot of neat places they've been to in the Midwest. And I'd like to see them get out here to North Carolina, Brown Mountain Lights, the West Virginia, everywhere, because all of West Virginia is crazy haunted. I was listening recently to a podcast, and it's called Weird Darkness. And the guy was doing just North Carolina. And he said, usually I get 4 pages out of a place and I make the story. He got to 19 and had to quit because the state was so haunted. You need to come out here and try it. There's so much in this country to do, and so few groups getting a chance to get away and do it. So I'm hoping these ladies do it, because they seem like they're really, really on top of it. So, hey, real briefly, I want you to consider joining the Onyx Network. Go to onyxnetwork.com, drop down a little bit on the first page. There's ways to join, different levels. But if you do, you get so much out of it. I think one of the main things I like to talk about is you get the magazine. The magazine comes out once a month or every other month, I think now. But it is sent to you by email. So you get a digital copy of it. You can get a paper copy if you want, but you get the digital copy sent to you, and it's got so much neat stuff in it. This one on the left here, the dark one, I had 2 stories in that one, actually. One about the Battleship North Carolina, and also one about Halloween traditions or Halloween legends that have some truth to them. Since then, I wrote an article on haunted dolls in this issue, and the most recent one was about the Devil's Diner. If you all remember, I've had people on here talking about the Tri-County Truck Stop. It was also called the Old Diamonds. Very, very haunted place on Route 66. I got to be on the first ghost hunting team that went in, and the third. And I went back there many, many times. I think it was May, a tornado hit it, and it is all but destroyed. So I'm afraid to say this was the last call at the Devil's Diner, but the article's there at least, and a lot more stuff going on. So you should consider joining the Onyx Network. You also get all the shows. We have got so many shows: cryptids, conspiracies, UFOs, alien abductions, ghosts. There's 2 or 3 shows just on ghosts, like mine. Where I'm different is I get these good folks who aren't well enough known to get their own TV show. So we get to hear stories from the trenches, people who are down and dirty at the front lines doing this, just like these ladies here. That's where the fun comes in. So consider joining. But other than that, it's about time for me to step out. I want to thank you all for being here. And I think, once again, the most important thing I can ask of you is to stay safe when you're ghost hunting. Stay cool, because it's still getting hot out here. Stay cool, stay warm. If it does change, the temperature's been changing out here in the mountains. It changes a lot. And most important of all, guys, please stay spooked, okay? Good night.